Hello, and welcome to our DogBizPro help video series. In this video, we'll be explaining how to create a new user. Inside of DogBizPro, you're able to add in your own users. Users are able to log in and actually use the software. To start, you would just want to navigate to your admin module by clicking on the module dropdown and selecting admin. Once inside, you would just want to click on the Setup tab, Getting Started, and Users in order to be brought to your users page. From inside of this users page, you can view and edit your existing users as well as create a brand new one. If you wanted to edit an existing user, you can just click on the user in question in order to open up that editing window. And from inside of this editing window, you can make any changes that you need to, and once you're finished, you can click Save in order to actually update your changes. If you actually wanted to create a new user, you can do that by clicking on the New User button. As a reminder, this New User button will only show if you have available user slots remaining. So, if you wanted to create a new user, you would just want to click that New User button, and that will open up your New User window. From inside of this New User window, you can set up and create your new user account. The first section showing inside of this window are the first and last name text boxes. Here you can enter in that user's first and last name. So just an example, we'll enter in a first and last name. The next area showing inside of this window is the username text box. This username text box will determine the actual username that this user would use in order to log in. So if you wanted the username to be something like test username, you could set that up here. So again, if this user actually went to log into the software, they'd be using the username that you have set inside this location in order to actually log in. The next area showing inside this window is the password text box. Here's where you're able to set up the password for this user. A user can do a password reset on their own, but this would allow you to set them up with one right at the start. So again, if you just wanted to set them up with a password, you could do that right inside of this location. So we'll just set that to password for right now. The next area showing inside of this window is the email text box. Here is where you're able to put the user's email address. If this user was to manually send an email out to a client, then it would be sent from their actual user account and use the email address that you have set up showing inside of this location. So if you wanted to assign an email address to a user, you would just want to set that here. So we'll just go ahead and use a test email address for that. As a reminder, if the user actually went to do a password reset, that password reset would be sent to this email address as well. The next area showing inside of this window is the Access section. This section will determine what modules this user can actually access. For example, let's say you wanted this user to be able to access the training module. Then you could just check the training checkbox and have that be the only one that's checked. So again, with the way that this is set up, this user would only be able to access the training module. On the same note, if you wanted this user to be able to access all the modules, then you would just want to make sure that each of these checkboxes is checked. And with all these checkboxes checked, then this user could actually access any module inside of the software. The last area showing inside of this window is the default drop-down box. This drop-down box will allow you to set a default module for this user. If a user logs into the software, they would be taken right into their default module. So if you wanted the user right after they log in to be taken to the admin module, you could leave this set to admin. If you actually wanted it to take them right to the training module, then you could choose training. So again, the default dropdown will just determine what module that user would actually log into. Once you're finished, you can click the Save button in order to create your new user. Now, you should be able to see that new user showing inside of your user's page. This user would be able to log in on their user account right after it has been created. Hopefully that helps and explains how to create a new user.